Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. We've got a brand new line of shafts just into the shop this week, which we're really excited to talk to you guys about. And I'm sure, to be honest, this will be the first time that a lot of you will have heard of VA shafts.
This was the first that I heard of it when you were chatting about it the other day.
We've been excited to do this for a little while since we knew we had the shafts coming in, and you know, we get very set. We've known the good products in the industry for a while, so our matrix doesn't change too much. I was
gonna say, I mean, for you to bring a new brand, and we said this about the O-band shafts, when you bring a brand new brand in, it's a big deal because you've got such a trusted sort of matrix there that to mess with it is a big deal. Obviously, these have something to offer.
It's a very good point. I mean, we don't go, we don't bring in a new brand easily. We don't do it just to freshen the wall up. It's all performance related. It shows a lot of sort of belief on our part that we're not just kind of adding to it for the sake of adding to it, but we're improving it. We're making it better. We're adding more options, and that's exactly what we have here. So,
very cool.
VA Shafts. Victor Fabli is the founder, owner of the company. Victor has such a deep history in sort of shaft manufacturing, dating back to originally with Aldila. He was there with Graphite Design. He's been with a bunch of different companies. He founded O-band shafts as well.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Yep. So he was there, and then he kind of obviously then figured out, he kind of had his ideas. He had what he wanted to do, and he wanted to do on his own and kind of paddle his own canoe as you would call it, and just go out on his own. And he's got such a wide following from tour guys like myself. I've known Victor since kind of getting into the aftermarket industry for several years, and I've known him from O-band. So when he obviously introduced this new line, I was very keen to try it.
I would say that's probably made it easier for him to launch a brand because he had a relationship with the guys in the industry already.
It was that, and that's a rare thing, to be honest. I was chatting with him yesterday. We were doing a little PK session with our team, and we had Victor on a Skype call, and we were kind of getting some details from really just the background, how it all came about and that type of thing. And he was telling us that a few of the OEMs have taken them in as part of the aftermarket lineup. After really just 2 years.
That's a big deal.
That's a big deal. You normally need to be around for a long time before you can get in the door with these companies, but that's testament to who he is. People know his shaft design capabilities and credentials, and what he's sort of poured into these shafts is nothing but the finest materials, the finest sort of design philosophies into these shafts, and that really shows up when we see people hitting the profiles. So
before we actually hit any, what would you say kind of the elevator pitch is with these? What did he set out to do that's different, or that offers something I guess that isn't already on the market?
That's a great question, because that's obviously that's it, isn't it? What makes this different from every other company out there?
Aside from they look cool.
It's always they look really cool. They've got some great names. We've got the Rajin, which is the original one. We then had the Slay, and we now have the Drago. Matt, it truthfully comes down to material content. That's always what it's about. Sourcing the finest materials from Toray, who are reputably the #1 brand from a material standpoint of making composite material. High carbon content, low resin. That's really what we're looking for shafts to be consistent, feel good. Then obviously we then look at EI curves and we look at profiles of the shaft and see how that fits in. So you've got Drago, which is probably bread and butter in terms of the bend profile. So this is going to be your sort of mid-launch, low spin. If you want to go there, and we don't talk too much about it. We're categorizing. That's what that is: mid-launch, low spin. Then you're into Rajin, which is kind of mid to high launch and fairly low spin. So a little bit softer tip profile. So fairly stout in the butt section, but getting progressively a little bit softer in the tip section. And then you've got Slay, which is sort of for the slower swinger or into the kind of fairway wood, sort of a little bit more tip active, launches the ball a little bit higher. So three profiles that are going to fit most people.
Yeah. Most people would probably fit into this, you'd say, from a, I guess, from a percentage standpoint.
I think a lot of people would fit into that one, that's for sure. Great price point for us. Obviously, aftermarket shaft, especially when you're dealing with the high-end materials, can get a little pricey. This one's very, very reasonable from a price standpoint.
So give us an idea compared to, you don't have to name anyone, but you know, $400 to $500 Canadian is kind of your standard, would you say, for a premium material shaft? So is this a little bit better category?
This will come in for us somewhere ballpark around $250, somewhere around about that.
It's definitely a cost advantage, there's no doubt. I mean, you're talking about a substantial savings, and as you say, if it's got the same quality of materials and the bend profiles and stuff.
That's the key, isn't it?
To me, that's what makes this, I guess, a new offering, right?
You're getting a real premium product for a little bit less than other sort of products out there.
I think that's great.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So we're going to test them. We're going to have Matty hit them, and we thought, you know, we'll just run through the lineup. You know, we'll just hit a bunch of different ones, and we'll hit some fairway woods today. We'll run through the lines, and we'll have a look at kind of what each shaft kind of does for you specifically. We'll get Matty's feedback on the feel, that sort of thing. There's some different torque profiles that I won't mention to you.
Sure, yeah. I don't know any of the specs, so it's going to be interesting.
Which is great, isn't it? You know, so you obviously some of the other shafts you know a bit more about when you test them. So, you know, that not that saying it has an influence, but you kind of know what to expect.
For sure, yeah.
So this is a little bit different, so exciting stuff.
All right, let's get into, we're going to go into the fairway wood first.
Okay.
Leave you with those.
Thank you. All right, Matty, so we've got the sleigh we're going to test first. So this is the softest profile. We'd expect this maybe to be a bit more active than you'd be used to. You know, we fit you into the, obviously, Graphic Design IZ previously, so we know you use something a little bit stiffer than this profile, so we'll test it.
Right, but this makes a good fairway wood profile because it's softer in the tip?
Really does. Okay. It's a little more active, which is what so many people will benefit from in a fairway wood.
Kick the ball up a bit. All right.
All righty.
We got the TS3 fairway wood, if anyone's wondering.
It's a great looking flight. We'll take those numbers any day of the week, Matty. 10 launch, 2900 spin. For you, that's about ideal. Keeping it around 3000. Yeah, that's really, really good. 159 ball speeds. Not too shabby either. Really, really like that.
So, I mean, it certainly has, I guess you definitely feel some kick to it, which I think is good, right? Like that's what you should be looking for with your 3-wood.
You don't want it to feel, you know, like a board for 3-wood.
No, I mean, right away I would say if someone likes the feel of a little bit of kick through impact, this is definitely got that in the bag.
What I'm really curious about is how you'll kind of almost feel the progression of the profile stiffening up as we go towards Rajin and Drago.
Okay. So not as well hit, probably a little lower on the face, but
not too bad though.
Happy with that still. We'll just have more spin on it, I guess.
Bounce.
Okay. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, good.
The strike got the spin up, didn't it?
Little slow, yeah. Strike wise, not too bad actually, not too bad at all.
No, just a hair low.
Okay.
No, it was nice. Both are nicely on line. That's probably somewhere in between the first two. Shade low, but really quite well
good.
Hit. That's nice. I mean, for a shaft that's not, again, as you say, it's not really heavy. It's not super stiff.
Yep.
It's not like I'm hooking every single shot or losing control.
It's really stable for you. If we look at how straight those ones are, you know, we started every ball through the same flight window, and really it's just a bit of spin that stopped it being what the first one was, which that's ideal. You know, 263. If we're in that 260 to 270 range carry, we're right on the money.
For sure.
And this is off the deck, so it's not obviously the easiest in the world. But look at how good that you're retaining your ball speed and that sort of thing. So
Well, I wouldn't look up at any of those 3 shots and be remotely disappointed.
No.
I mean, if you're on a par 5, you got a 3-wood in your hand, you strike it a bit low, and you come up short, you say, okay, let's go chip and putt.
Absolutely fine. All right, let's throw in Raijin.
Okay.
Okay, Matty. So we've moved you into the Raijin, which was Victor's original shaft. This was the first one he came out with. Yeah, cool. This was the original one he launched the company with. Drago and Slay have followed from that. So this is kind of really premium material standpoint. I think this would actually be a really good fairway wood shaft for you.
Yeah, I think
this would be very close to the type of profile you would need. A little more stable in the tip section than Slay, but not quite as stiff as Drago.
There's literally a waggle difference already. Like
you can feel it, but the stability.
Yeah, it doesn't feel ridiculously stiff, but you notice a little bit more. I'll tell you what, it looks great with the little TS3 head too, doesn't it?
Yeah, I really like the designs.
Just catching
low off the face.
Catching that low on the face, yeah.
Okay. Not bad though, result-wise.
That's my tendency off the deck. It's
definitely
not uncommon for me to see that.
And it's interesting. I've actually seen you in recent weeks get a little better with that, Matty. You're starting to get a little more down in your fairway wood, which is a pretty good sign. Interesting result. Obviously, I think it's a lot to do with the TS head that you're retaining a ton of ball speed low in the head. That's a misread in the club speed, obviously, but you know, we just know baseline numbers for you off a fairway wood 160 is pretty good.
Yeah, it is pretty good.
Not bad at all. All right, let's hit a couple more.
That's hit well.
It's lovely.
Yeah, really nice.
That's lovely.
Yeah. Yeah, there's definitely a difference in the amount of, I guess, reaction I feel from the shaft through impact. Probably not as active, but I mean the flight isn't hugely different, is it?
Little flatter, isn't it? I mean,
it is, yeah.
You could probably say a little bit of that's through the low strike,
but certainly spin-wise, it seemed to kick it down a little bit, didn't it?
A little bit, yeah, and that last one was pretty low. It's launching pretty low, that's for sure. Yeah. Probably, you know, I'd be keen to kind of look at maybe some different heads, maybe look at a fraction more loft.
A bit more loft would probably be good for me.
You've been thinking of that yourself.
Yeah.
You've been thinking about going towards maybe a 16 head or something.
I think just at least for now.
Yeah.
It seems to be. I don't hit a ton of 3-woods off the deck, but when I do, 15 is, for whatever reason, it's just a bit of a stretch for me to hit enough height on it.
Okay.
So I think I turned it a bit, but that was again really struck well. Yeah. It's again not a shot I would be upset with on the course.
Okay, let's hit one more with Raijin, and then we'll go over into Drago.
Yeah, as you say, this is the feel I think that I'm more familiar with, just based on the shafts that we've tried in fittings. But it doesn't feel harsh or anything. It's still fairly smooth, but it's definitely got a little bit more stiffness than the blue one. I think I'm making better contact with this shaft, though.
I mean, those last few have been really well hit.
Yeah, I had trouble hitting as high up on the face as those last few with the first shaft. So
as we shake this out, hit more the true, a little more of what we would expect to happen has kind of shown up. Slightly less spin, good speed, and a little more carry.
It's interesting. We don't see anything this cut and dry with shaft tests that often, do we?
No,
like that's right. Like paper, basically.
This is by description, isn't it? Yeah. So okay, let's throw Drago in there and do a little comparison. Okay, Matty. So we've changed this over. This is by far the stiffest profile. This is the Drago. Love the name.
It's cool, yeah.
You know, pulls at my heartstrings with the Rocky movies.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah.
This is really good. So this is probably what the stronger players will gravitate towards. We'll play in something like this. So very, very tip stiff, but also very butt stiff.
I was going to say, in my hands, it feels very butt stiff.
Yeah. You'll definitely feel this is the most stable. So
okay,
let's see what this one does.
This would be good for someone looking to eliminate a hook as well. Is that the type of profile of shaft?
Just dispersion, shrinking dispersion. Yeah. Someone who's maybe hitting a lot of 3-woods off the tee as well would probably go to a profile like this.
Interesting. I like that one. Did you move that green again?
Yeah, I moved it slightly. Well, I kind of expected you to hit this one further.
Did. I hit that one really well. Yeah, it just needed to be a shade more left.
Yeah, I kind of preempted that this one would spin less.
Yeah. That flight is good. Again, like the
nice,
launch,
isn't it?
The launch is just my delivery, but it certainly produced a flight that I think is what I would be looking for from either the deck or the tee. Like kind of a little balance of both. Okay, see if we can hit that shot.
So we got it 270s. We've got to cover 260 to get on the green.
Maybe a little more left this time too. Well, I think that's the one.
Oh boy,
I'm in.
That's nice. That's got lots of legs to make it up there.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Flew 270 that one.
So I wonder why. Did I swing faster, or was that just better numbers? Oh,
just
better numbers.
Little higher launch, little lower spin.
Okay.
That little screen there really shows it well, doesn't it?
It does, yeah.
It's different spin profiles. You know, obviously carrying it a little bit further. If we go back to the table, carrying it a little bit further with Drago here, 263 versus 260. With Rajin versus 253 with Slay. Mostly due to spin. Launch is actually staying very predictable.
It is, yeah.
Where spin is just hopping around a little bit.
It's really amazing, actually, to see that much of a difference.
Yeah.
Part of it, I'd hate to say it's what we always say, but in a way it is, because I think the biggest difference it made was the strike quality became much more centered and higher with the stiffer profile shafts.
For sure.
And my strike was quite low with the other shaft.
Yeah. That's what it is. That's always what it is.
It's what it always comes down to, right?
Time it and create the right sort of blend between how the club is loading and creating energy and all that sort of stuff, and where you're feeling your delivery. That's always what it is. I mean, you know, one of the things I love so much about Victor is, you know, he's not out there, you know, basically kind of saying things that kind of are not true.
Right.
In the sense that when I say that, it's like people tell me all the time, oh, it's high launch and it's low spin. Well, how? You know, how do you get it up in the air with more dynamic loft but keep the spin rate down? Like, that's a strike thing, you know, to be high launch, low spin. So, you know, when Victor was talking to the boys yesterday and we had our little PK session, you know, he was more talking about sort of how the shafts load and the type of player profile that you maybe want to match that shaft to. Wasn't you know, kind of trying to
based on ball flight.
Yeah, it wasn't trying to kind of pretend that the shafts are going to do magical things. Yeah. It's just all about matching it to the player profile, which I really like.
I think that's, well, it's so in line with what you've always said since I've come in here with you, is that is the difference that the shaft is making. It is influencing the way you deliver the club, and then that influences the numbers in turn.
Definitely. That's the integrity that kind of you have to deliver with these types of tests, because it's the truth.
Well, it is the truth.
And it'll show itself up that way. So, okay, let's have a couple more with Drago. This is,
I like this one.
This is nice. That was a really good line in that last one.
So I think for me, when I feel a little bit more stability like this, I just have the confidence to sort of hit that kind of shot. I aim a bit left and I know it's probably not going to hook. Yeah. So it's nice to have, I mean, you have 3 shafts in a line, and they're going to fit 3 different golfers. That's more than likely, right?
Yeah, if someone doesn't quite have the speed that you have, they'll probably struggle to deliver and create the load and be able to kind of get this one where they can time it well. Right. So they might be more Rajin or Slay, whereas you're more Rajin or Drago.
You kind of find the one that fits best.
You'll find the one that fits you.
Yeah, no, that's great. Okay, one more purple line at the green here.
Another one absolutely piped.
Yeah, I bet you that kicks left in the bunker, but that was hit really well. Hit that really well. I mean, it's funny again, like that was probably one of the highest balls that I hit through launch angle. It's interesting. But the shaft is not designed to hit it high. It's just the way that it seems to be timing for me.
A lot of strike point, I think, with that as well. Some of the other ones we were seeing sort of a lot of deflection from the shaft, so we kind of raised the sweet spot a little bit through getting the shaft working and a bit too much lead deflection. Right. These are the types of tests that, you know, we keep going on about it, but gears will help us a lot with that when we talk about sort of deflection profiles and that sort of stuff. So it'll be really good for us to look into that in deeper detail.
I think this might be the most obvious case of that I've experienced with you so far. In terms of, I know that the first shaft was bending more this way, and I was striking it more towards the bottom.
We're struggling a little bit. So now if we look at that, the two extremes, we've got Slay and Drago were 11 yards apart in carry, and there was only 1 mile an hour of ball speed difference, so those are all launch conditions.
Interesting.
So that's significant enough. 600 RPMs a spin, about 0.6 of a degree of launch, which is good.
It's really, nice to see. Nice. It's a line that provides so much, I guess, difference throughout it that you can take a player who's the opposite delivery of me and recommend that shaft instead.
There's something in there for everyone. And one thing I love is the profiles sort of vary a little bit as you change weight.
Okay.
So they actually. As you go down, even Drago, as you go down into the lower weights, the 45, 55s, they get a little bit softer and they're a little more playable for more players.
Right.
So, we have to be mindful of that as fitters.
And you can fine tune even more so by having those options.
Exactly. So you can get a Drago to be a bit more active by being in the softer flexes. And, Victor was very kind yesterday to give us a little insight into some of the things he's working with. And through his background with Oban, he has a really close relationship with some PGA Tour players out there, and from a product standpoint, they're requesting certain profiles and that type of thing. And he's got carte blanche now to do whatever he wants.
That's cool.
He's the man, so he can make whatever he wants for them.
Yeah.
But one thing he was very conscious of, that he is not building shafts for the PGA Tour. He's building shafts for the golf community.
And the PGA Tour will be sort of a little side project.
Yeah, that's obviously a great testing ground, and it is what it is. It's great to showcase your product with the best players in the world.
Yep.
But ultimately, for him, his market is the average golfer, which is great. That's kind of where he knows the brand is going to be represented the best.
Those are the customers, right?
That's it.
It's kind of interesting that, I'm not saying this is wrong, because one, I don't know enough about the industry, but it seems to be the opposite in marketing for all the other companies. It's trickle down, like Dustin Johnson trickles down his input, and that comes into consumer golf clubs.
And that's it.
And that story, to me, doesn't really make sense. I think that's just the way it is. From a marketing perspective. Sure. I doubt that's how it is from an actual design perspective, maybe. But you see it with other stuff. Cars are like that. It's like, oh, what works on the racetrack? Well, who cares? Like, it doesn't. I'm not racing, to go to the restaurant. I'm driving the speed limit, and I want a comfortable car.
That's right.
And I think that's where maybe marketing and actual design separate. But I like hearing that a designer is saying, I'm interested in serving the customer market. I'm designing for these people that play golf every weekend, and I'm not worrying about how well Tiger might hit this driver.
That's what it's all about, and that's where it's so easy for someone like me to get absolutely behind VA shafts, and they'll be a big part of our future here.
That's great.
That's for sure.
That's awesome.
And as more products come into line, as product launches evolve, and Victor's been very kind, and kind of he'll ask us what we like and what we what's working out there, and that's the type of interaction that you're looking for, and it's great. It's going to be a great relationship for us, primarily because the shafts perform so good.
Yeah, I think that those were as good or better than anything that I've tested personally in the 3-wood, and I'm sure we'll test. There's hybrid shafts up there. There's driver shafts.
Yeah, we have literally the full line. We have all three shafts in driver. We have all three in Fairway wood.
Oh, you do?
We have Drago. We have all three in hybrid as well.
Oh, cool. So we'll mix those into some other videos, maybe not just about shafts, but you'll definitely be seeing them again.
Yeah, absolutely, and if you pay attention to our TXG Instagram, which is where our builders will always kind of post what they build. Yeah, he does a great job with that stuff. You'll see some really neat builds with that. I think he built a Drago with a TS head with and the customer put a really cool purple grip on there.
Yeah, it was cool.
It's just neat. It's just unique, great looking products, great performing products. So
awesome.
Lots of good stuff.
I enjoyed that. It was great.
Yeah, that was good. Excellent, guys. VA is probably a new company to you, but I would definitely recommend getting out there, give it a try. Seek it out there. Go on the dealer list and wherever you're located, and see if there's an authorized dealer somewhere near you guys. Certainly in here you've got full autonomy to try it. Well, when you're in with one of our fitters, that's for sure. So I hope you enjoyed this product test, and we highly recommend you go out and try those shafts at a dealer near you.